if another term is connected to you, this other term is null, is zero, and non-totalization of the two positions, masculine position plus feminine position, does not equal the totality in the sexual world. We must, in passing, and it's a very interesting problem, look at the derivation that leads from the real position, which is inscribed in the four axioms, to the segregative position. I think there is a movement which sometimes is repeated, sometimes today, which goes from the true position to the segregative position. This movement is made, in fact, of a dual process. On the one hand, the common term U is excised from its feminine inclusion. It can be a real excision, because the excision, the real excision, the vaginal excision, if you want, is in fact the material execution of the excision of you, that is, of the common term between the feminine position and the masculine position. And it is an activation of the disjunctive position. So, this excision of you can be expressed thus. A woman contains no thing that ordains her for the public space. Because U, as humanité, is the term inside the feminine position which expresses the appartenance of the feminine position to humanité and to public space. If you excise the you, you can say that a woman contains no thing that ordains her for the public space, or a woman is essentially a private creature. On the other hand, and it's the second process, since no other atomic thing ties a woman to a man, there is complete disconnection. And so there is no masculine knowledge of the space occupied by a woman. No possibility for a man to understand what is the space occupied by a woman, which is not the public space, by excision of you, but which becomes a space which is entirely obscure for the man. And so we have the supposition of a potentially infinite dilatation of the feminine without the obstacle of something atomic, which gives us the supposition, which could very well, since a woman has no atom, be finally equivalent to the wall. I inscribe this directly, as you can see in D of the paper, traditional vision of the feminine position. First, you transform the feminine position by subtraction of you, which is material or symbolic excision. So we pass from W to W minus U, which is excision. But excision is also the possibility of dilatation, because there is no obstacle by a closed term. And so maybe a woman is the same thing as the whole. And it is why we have the possibility that a woman is both a destitute being, because she has not public value, and an emphatically over-evaluated being, because it's possible that she is infinite. And that is the complete disposition of traditional vision of the woman, which is the derivation of the four axioms by excision of you of the feminine position. And it is why it's the same disposition which affirms first that woman has no place in the public disposition, that a woman is a private creature and so on, and that there exists a mysterious feminine elevation. So the cult of the feminine is the same as the reduction of the feminine. There is no distinction between the feminine as a sacred place and the feminine as a purely private place. It's the same movement. Completely different are our four axioms of sexuation, naturally. First, they say that the feminine position W contains the universal element U, which is sexual, but without any determination. Second, they say that W is absolutely different from the masculine position, but it's neither complementarity nor an infinite expansion to all the space. And it's in this context that we can propose a formal understanding of love. I give you a first definition. The key point is that love activates the term you in two different directions. We can say that love is something like an event, naturally, an encounter, and this encounter activates the term you, the common term you, but it activates this term in two different directions. So, that is my definition, my first definition. A love encounter is what attributes eventually a dual function to the atomic and unanalyzable intersection of two successive positions. The function of the object, the first function of the object, by which a desire finds its cause, and the function of a point from which the two produces its unity in the form of a process of investigation of the world from the point of view of the two. So you see, I propose in this definition to say that, okay, there is eventual signification of love, there is encounter as an event, but this event is in the context of the four axioms of sexuation. So the effect of the encounter is to activate what is in common between the two successive positions. But this activation is in two completely different directions. On one side, it's the sexual determination of you, and you is the common object of desire. And so it's realized the possibility of one position to recognize in the other the support of the object of desire, and reciprocally. But finally, we have to understand that it's the same object. But it's another question. It's a common object of desire. This is it's the first function of you. But there is another function, completely different, which is that you is the point of departure of a process which is finally in direction of outside, in the world itself, of a process in the world, from the point of view of the two, the affirmation of the two in the world. And that is, these two functions of the atomic term you exist because the connection of you to the two successive positions, woman and man, can be read in two ways. That is the most important point.